I'm going to spray application fluid onto the tape. Doing that makes the tape kind of go mushy and helps it to let loose. It takes a few minutes to soak in and start working. Let's see if those pins stay down now. Sometimes the tape just grips too hard and starts pulling it back up. And getting it wet like that helps it release its hold. Yeah, it's working a lot better there. And while my finger's wet, I can slide around and rub out some minor imperfections. But be careful, don't rub those pins sideways too much because those will pop loose and you'll be sorry. I'm going to roll that around the front edge. When you're licking it with a heat gun, something that's not touching the metal can heat up very quickly and destroy the glue. So before you go too much heat gun on bare film, make sure it's against the car. Where I've got this front flap hanging. Yeah, working good here. Pinstripes are the worst part. I'm watching this pin real carefully here. Now when you're using the heat gun on the film, I can go over the film anywhere and I can raise up bubbles because of the moisture layer that's down there, but don't worry about that. Just let it go. That'll all dry out in a couple of weeks. I don't wash the car for at least 3 days. I tell people don't wash the car for a week just to be safe. Because until that fluid dries out all the way, it really doesn't bite as hard as it eventually will. Alright, I'm going to cut here and show you the hood. Okay, we're back on the hood. I'm going to pull the same trick here. Sometimes you don't have to wet the tape. Sometimes you do. It never hurts to do so. Now I can feel there's some spots in here that aren't perfectly down. This is the point where it curves the most, so those are the areas that I'm going to want to watch the most because they haven't been stuck down this whole time. They're still wet. Some more in through here. It's alright though, the film is actually more conformable than the paper tape is, So as I get it wet, it actually sticks on. It takes the shape of the hood a little better. Now I push this flap down in the back. I take my finger and I take a squeegee and I'll stuff that down. I want it to hang over on both ends so I can pull the paper off and have a flap hanging. And then I can tuck that flap around nice and far so I have a real good solid lock on it. And because I can't start very well on either end, I'm going to just try to rip it into the middle of the tape. Be real careful with that pinstripe. Some spots here with some slack in them. Just kind of rub it, get that slack distributed evenly. Okay, here's my brake. I'm going to pull it down a linear path, watching mostly these two pinstripes, make sure they stay where they need to, and then when I go over one of those bumps, I just rub it down. As I get to the end, I'm going to pull it to where I can leave the hood kind of evenly. There we go. Nice flap hanging so I can tuck that later. I guess I didn't have to stuff that down in the back because it all pops up when you get to the end anyway. This isn't going to want to stick right away because it's wet. But I'm going to get it on there. Then I'll come back later with a heat gun and get that to stick. And it won't stick very well, but I'll lick it with a heat gun here in a minute.